Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of MMA Fight Picks with Ant and Jay. Today, we are going to be breaking down UFC Long Island, UFC ABC 3, Ortega versus Rodriguez, whatever you want to call it. We're coming off a so-so card, some crazy fights, some interesting decisions, some interesting outcomes. So hopefully this week we can come out with some better decisions on our side, whether that's splits or just unanimouses, and hopefully get some picks on our side. But how was your week last week, man? And how are you doing today?
Doing good. Last week went all right, I guess. Trayshawn Gore kind of hurt me, but I actually ended up coming out on top just slightly, so no complaints. Ready to move on and make some more money.
Yeah, I hear that. I was slightly profitable too. I think that's 8 or 9 weeks in a row now for me. So hopefully we can continue that with this card and make some money and have a good time doing it. I lost 2 splits. I lost the Michael Johnson split and I lost the Courtney Casey split. And I had a bet on Courtney Casey by split as well. So
yeah, that Courtney one hurt because she... Like Antonino went to the hospital afterwards, and Courtney was chilling.
So did Malarkey. Malarkey went to the hospital afterwards.
Yeah,
too. Michael Johnson didn't. So it's like both my guys lost, and both their opponents went to the hospital. But hey, what can you do? All we do is move on and move to the next card. Profitable, can't complain too much. Would have been a great night though. Otherwise, if those 2 splits would have gone my way. But we will move on to this weekend's card, UFC Long Island. We have we have some good fights. Ricky Simone, Jack Shore sticks out. That's a prelim fight. I don't even know why it's not even like the main prelim fight. They have Dalcha up there. Kind of interesting. We have Dustin Jacoby, Jung. That should be a good fight. Shane Burgos, Charles Jourdain, Schnell, Sumudaerji, Jingliang, Muslim Salikhov, Ortega, Yair, even Waterson and Lemos is a pretty good fight. So this will be fun to break down. We haven't talked too much this week about fights. Normally we talk a little bit before we do this, but we haven't talked too much. So kind of interested to see what you have to say. But we'll kick it off with the first fight of the night. We're going to have Jessica Penne against Emily Ducote, I believe, or Ducote, but I believe it's Ducote. Tail of the tape. Jessica Penne is going to be 11 years older. She is going to be the taller woman, and she's going to be the longer woman. Penne is a grappler. She likes to grapple. Who was it in her last fight? The Lupita Godinez fight. She literally just sat on her back and backpacked her, did nothing, but just backpacked her. Got a split decision victory. That's probably like her best victory of her whole career, if you really look at it. She's fought good people though.
Yeah.
So can't really fault her. Then we have Ducote, who is making her UFC debut. She is a striker at heart. So this is a striker versus grappler matchup. I'm leaning Ducote. I think if she can keep this on the feet, it should be a pretty easy matchup for her. I don't believe there will be a finish in this fight, but the first fight of the night is normally pretty exciting and either see a finish or just like a barn burner. So this could be something like that. We might see a finish. I don't know if anybody's seen the Twitter highlight or Twitter video that's been going around of Emily Ducote's highlight video. I believe it was her last knockout or 2 knockouts ago. It was the right cross to the head kick against Danielle Taylor. She absolutely obliterated that girl.
Brutal.
So that was vicious. You don't really see women at the 115 weight class, 115 weight class, getting slept like that. So I'm going to lean Ducote. I'm not confident though. Probably won't bet this fight. I don't even know. I honestly haven't even looked at the line at this fight outside of the money line. What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm kind of have to lean on the Ducote side as well. That knockout's so brutal. Like I remember one other knockout off the top of my head that was more brutal, and that's the Valentina head kick. I mean, and I don't want to oversell her just because she got that one knockout, but apparently that knockout that she had was a girl that was the last loss of Jessica Penne, Danielle Taylor.
Mm.
So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, like you said, if she keeps it on the ground, she should have an easy win. You know what I mean? Like crisp striking, clearly. That left hook to left head kick, right?
I believe there was something. I don't remember off the top
Yeah.
of my head.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean,
vicious.
I don't know much about her. I know Jessica Penne is like a more looking at like the grappling and jiu-jitsu. And I mean, Ducote is like she's kind of small. Not like I don't think she's gonna be super easy to take down. She's on a hot streak, so is Jessica Penne. Slight, moderate favorite. I mean, I'm gonna lean her, but I don't like you said. I don't think I'm gonna bet.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I mean, she's definitely small for 115. I feel like 5'2", 64-inch reach. And Penny's a pretty big 115er. When you see her in the cage, she's
5'5",
pretty long.
you know.
She's pretty long and lanky.
67-inch reach.
Which makes her grappling kind of interesting because she is able to hop on your back and really use those long limbs. So this is an interesting fight. I mean, I think if she can get this on the ground, or if she can kind of do what she did against Lupita Godinez, she can win this fight. She can. The problem is, though, she doesn't do a lot of damage. And a year and 2 months ago, the judges were scoring things vastly different than they are now. And so I think if she's just backpacking this girl and just not really going for submissions or not really doing any damage, it's for a lost cause. So I'm leaning Emily Ducote with that. So that's really all I have there. I'm probably not going to bet that fight. It's kind of a stay away. Should be a fire, though. I mean, I want to watch Ducote fight just because really haven't seen her before outside of watching tape on her. And so I want to just see her live in action and see if she's really about it and has hands like that and has power like that. Because if she has power like that, she'll be someone I will happily back in the 155. I keep saying that, the 115 division.
Yeah.
In the strawweight division for the ladies. All right, anything else before we move on?
Yeah, no, not really.
All right, for sure. So let me move on. I totally forgot banners for that last fight, but boom, we'll pump these bad boys up. Going from here on out. So we have Dwight Grant against Dustin Stoltzfus. This fight is pretty much grappler versus striker for the most part. Grant being the striker, Stoltzfus being the grappler. I should say wrestler. Pretty sure he's a wrestling background. Tail of the tape goes. Grant is 7 years older. He is actually moving up to the middleweight division for this fight. So this will be his first time ever in the middleweight division. It was a hard cut for him down to 170. He's a pretty big 170, 6'1", 76-inch reach. When you look at his body, he's pretty yoked. So I could imagine it's tough for him to cut down to that 170 mark. So he's going up to 185, which I think that favors Dustin. He's been there. He's been fighting at 185. So this is kind of his wheelhouse. But Dustin will be smaller in height, and he will have a shorter reach. So tail of tape, it's pretty even because Dustin, he is younger. He does have the weight class advantage. Grant does have the height and the reach advantage. Experience-wise, they're just about even. Stoltzfus is on a 3-fight losing streak. Grant's on a 2-fight losing streak. We look at who Stoltzfus has fought. He's fought Dawkins, Vieira, and Miesha. So pretty much submission guys. And then he's lost to Sergey Kondosco and Francisco Trinaldo. So both guys have lost to quality competition. I don't think they've lost to just complete scrubs. I actually have a bet on this fight. I have a bet on Dustin Stoltzfus at like plus 140 or 121 or something like that right now, or 126. I think that going up in a weight class is going to be a challenge for Dwight Grant. I think that the wrestling and grappling in that upper weight class is going to be an even larger issue. And when you watch Grant fight, he's a little wild. He's a little sloppy. And when he gets like that, I mean, it opens himself up for takedowns, one, and he gets more tired. But a big reason why I'm backing this is Stoltzfus. He went a tough, 3 rounds with Vieira before getting submitted. He went a tough, I'm pretty sure 3 rounds with Miesha. I watched that fight. I just don't remember what round he got finished in. Yeah, he went a good 3 rounds with Miesha before getting caught and finished. And then he went 3 rounds with Dawkins. I don't believe Grant has that finishing ability to choke him out, and he's not getting knocked out. He's gotten hit real hard in all 3 of these fights, and he didn't go down. So I'm going Stoltzfus here. Have a bet on him like 1.6 units to win 2. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. I mean, if it was maybe 170, I'd maybe give Grant a shot. But honestly, he's been kind of disappointing for me to watch. I've bet on him a few times, and I didn't have a bet on him last time, but I was like, I thought he should win because the guy he was fighting was coming off such a long way from fighting, a long time out from fighting. But anyways, I mean, I don't have much to say other than Dustin Stoltzfus should lose, but should win, but he always finds a way to lose. So I'm gonna have to lean on the dogger pass side, but I wouldn't trust either of these guys with my money.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I honestly I don't know if this goes to decision, but Stoltzfus by decision plus 400. Stoltzfus by KO plus 1,000.
Oh yeah, and even if I was confident in Grant, he got knocked out less than 2 months ago, and he took a brutal shot. So yeah. I could see Dustin Stoltzfus definitely finishing him. I could also see Dustin Stoltzfus winning the first 2.5 rounds and finding a way to lose late because he got tired or something. So that's kind of my read on it. He either finishes him or he gets finished late, maybe.
Yeah. The only reason why I definitely hear you on that. The only reason why I'm not super concerned about the late finish is I don't think he's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, Grant doesn't finish anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Grant doesn't finish people, and I don't think Grant has power to carry him late like that. He gets tired, and he's winging these little soft pillow punches that look like they're hard, but they're not.
Yeah, I remember watching him fight, or I think I've watched at least 5 of his fights now, and each one I'm like, oh, this guy looks like he can knock him out. Yeah. This guy looks like he's about to knock him out, and then he doesn't knock him out, even if he does hit them, and then he finds a way to lose or gets knocked out.
Exactly. And when submissions plus 400 for Stoltzfus, so the books are kind of all over that. You would think that the KOs plus 1,000, submissions plus 400. That's a pretty steep line. And just for reference, Grant by submission is plus 2,000. So the odds of that happening, bookies are basically he's not submitting Stoltzfus.
Also, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember we were both watching the Contender Series at the same time when he got his last win. That's Stoltzfus, and that was he went to slam the guy, and the guy went to defend the takedown. His elbow just dislocated, and we're just like, ugh.
Oh yeah, I totally remember that. Now that you say that, that was that fight. So I heard someone say that actually this week. I was watching an interview about Stoltzfus. I think it was Stoltzfus interview, and he was saying that.
He hasn't won since that fight, and who knows if he was even going to win that fight. You know what I mean? The guy just dislocated his elbow falling down.
Yeah. He hasn't won since that fight, but he's fought pretty good people.
But he's looked good. Don't get me wrong. He looks good. He's looked good at least in all of his fights he's had his moments. So yeah. I like your dog shot. We'll see what the line looks like in a day or two, and when more props drop. But I could definitely see me hitting him. I just get nervous
Yeah, I mean, one of the big reasons why I'm backing him is he has the 7-year age on his side. The age gap is on his side. He's 30, Grant's 37, and Grant's going up to 185 for the first time in his career. And so those two factors, like I just take out the fighting styles and I just put those two factors in. Like I already am on the Stoltzfus side, and then it's kind of grappler versus wrestler. I mean, grappler versus striker, and the grappler's the heavier guy. I just kind of lean that side, but you never know. He could get slept, but
yeah, you're definitely kind of pushing me towards him. Don't get me wrong. Like I think I might have to put a play there, just because lockout recently, moving up a weight class.
That's pretty much what it is.
Doesn't really finish that well. Like
it doesn't. I mean, how many finishes does he really have? Like, I'm just gonna peep really quickly.
One.
He had one because I wasn't even like he had a couple. He had the Dana White Contender Series, and then
he knocked out Jordan Williams. I just saw that. But yeah, his last one was on UFC +3, and that was, I guess, over 52.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
57 UFC Vegas cards.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm on Stoltzfus. Do you have a pick?
Yeah, I have to lean Stoltzfus.
All right, for sure. I have a bet on Stoltzfus as well, so we have that. Here we go, folks. We're on to the third fight. Let me get this going. We have another really interesting matchup. Another fight that I have a bet on already. We have Dustin Jacoby versus Jung. Jacoby is going to be how much older is that? 6 years older. He is going to have a 1-inch height disadvantage and a 1/2-inch reach disadvantage. But take that with a grain of salt. That's so minor that it's not even really worth noting. And then from there, we will say experience-wise, Jacoby's more experienced, I would say, as a MMA guy and just as a professional fighter. He was a glory kickboxer, so he has that in his career. And then he also has come over to the UFC and has fought. He's had some good fights. He's also had some so-so fights. So it's really just I think this matchup is pretty much just how do you feel about Dustin Jacoby? Do you think Dustin Jacoby is a legit striker? Do you think he's a legit kickboxer? Yes or no? If not, I think you might side with Jung because he's a more complete mixed martial artist who can mix in the grappling, who has power, who has an arsenal of strikes, and he likes to pressure, kind of likes to stalk his prey. And Jacoby's not the greatest on his back foot. I've noticed when I watch his fights, he fights a lot better when he's able to pressure people or fight against guys who don't pressure him. And I think Jung is going to pressure him. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I have a bet on Jung as well at plus money. I put one bet in at, actually, I'll tell you right now, folks. I put one bet in at plus 130 for 1.5 units to win 2. And then I put another one in at plus 125 because the line was dropping. So I was like, I'm just going to get one more play in for 1.2 units for to win 1.5. So basically in total, I'm risking about 2.7 units to win 3.5. And the odds are plus 125 and plus 130, so a little bit in the middle. But yeah, so I'm on Jung. I think he should get this fight done. I might even play an inside the distance on Jung. I don't know what the line is for that. I'll take a look. But what do you think about this fight, man?
I'm agreeing with you again. Jung, it looks like I'm beating the line on it too. I got him at plus 119. And I have like 2 units on him. I just can't get over Dustin Jacoby's last fight against Michael Lungiambula and him not using his kicks. I mean, I watched him use all the kicks he's got in his arsenal in this next fight, but I think their level of competition, I actually am kind of more impressed by Dot and Jung's level of competition. The one thing that really scares me, though, is the split decision loss, or the split decision draw to Sam LV. That's scary. But that was like, a couple years ago. He's been upgrading. I like his finishing power. He knocked out Kenny and Chekwu. It was this amazing chin through his guard with an elbow. Jacoby's getting older. I'm going to take the younger guy. I think they both have similar, like the same striking defense. That my only concern is if Jung isn't able to deal with the kicks, but I have a feeling that's definitely going to be part of his game plan. And he's going to find a way to get a finish or win at least 2 rounds with his wrestling and striking, or a couple of both.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I just want to point out that Da Un Jung beat a guy named Hulk before. So
he beat the Hulk.
He beat the Hulk. So the Hulk
just straight Hulk. That's crazy.
0-0. Had literally never fought before.
Dude, Da Un Jung's huge.
You guys need to see what Hulk looks like. Hold on, let me pull this up for y'all. Scroll. Peep Hulk, y'all.
Oh no. His record's just 0-1. He never fought again.
Literally never fought again. That's hilarious.
He ended that man.
Literally TKO'd him and said no. He's like, I'm done, sir.
Damn.
All right. So we are on Da Un Jung. And one thing I will say, this has nothing to do with fighting. This is all just to do with narrative and just me being a partial conspiracy theorist. Justin Jacoby is 34. He's a 34-year-old American. There's a lot of U.S. American fighters in the UFC. Da Un Jung is a South Korean fighter. He's 28, just entering his prime. This fight card is bright and early in the morning. It's like 8, 9, 10 p.m. in Asia. So it's kind of set up to be kind of prime time for them over there in the Asian countries. The UFC just did the UFC in Singapore. We just had the fights in Singapore. I think the UFC wants to kind of push Asian fighters a little bit. And this is a good fight to do it. So it's going to be a good matchup. Da Un Jung is going to be tested. This is a step up. I mean, Jacoby's better than Kennedy. He's better than William Knight. Like, he's better than those guys. So
you think he's better than Chekwu? That'd be a fun fight.
If we would get the Kennedy, who's good, we know going to come out here and wrestle like he's David Robertson. I mean, it's going to be different, but I don't know.
Chekwu from Dagestan. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm leaning Jung. I just think I think the narrative fits him. I mean, the market fits him. If you look at the line has moved like insanely. Like, I'm going to peep best fight odds real quick just so I can give you guys a little bit more of a clear picture of exactly what I am talking about. So just for instance, we look at like DraftKings. So he opened up at plus 110. He went all the way up to plus 140. Not opened up, but in July, like July 6th, he was about plus 110. He went to plus 140. Now he's back down to plus 110. So he's just moving around a lot. Bet online. He opened up this was June 27th. He was down at minus 110. So he opened up at Pick'em, minus 110. Then people steamed Jacoby. He went up to about plus money, and now it's getting flipped. I think a lot of people probably saw, Dustin Jacoby's fighting this guy and just kind of bet him. And then now they're watching the tape and they're seeing like, oh, wait, this guy, Dustin Jacoby, actually might not be able to beat this guy. So I'm leaning Jung. You're leaning Jung. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next fight, sir?
I think this fight probably goes decision more than it goes inside the distance. So if you don't feel a side, I'd say maybe, because Dustin Jacoby's not like a super finisher. I don't think Da Un Jung's ever been finished in the UFC, at least. Let me double check.
Both these guys, I'm pretty sure, have only been submitted. They both have, I'm pretty sure, only have submission losses.
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, I think this probably goes to decision unless Jung lands like a lethal shot. But I don't think Dustin Jacoby's really got isn't much of a finisher. I think he got Darren Stewart or something like that. But
yeah, he did get Darren Stewart, but Darren Stewart's trash in my opinion.
Yeah, so. I agree. He's a 185er.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So we're on Jung. Let us move on to the fourth fight. If you are enjoying the content, please drop a like. Please drop a subscribe. We appreciate you greatly. All right, we got Bill Algeo against Herbert Burns. This is it's like kind of like a mix mashed together fight. Bill Algeo was supposed to be fighting. I'm just gonna
Billy Quarantillo.
Yeah, Bill supposed to fight Billy Q, and then Herbert Burns is supposed to fight Hussein Askabov. But both their opponents withdrew, so now they're fighting each other. So good on them for just saying, hey, we still want to fight. Let's just fight each other. Pretty cool. So we have Bill Algeo against Herbert Burns. Herbert Burns is the brother of Gilbert Burns. If anybody was curious, I'm pretty sure it's the older brother. Yeah. Okay. Bill Algeo is going to be 1 year younger. He's going to be the one who's probably going to be making weight because Herbert Burns hasn't made weight in a couple fights. He's going to be the bigger fighter. He's going to be taller, but he will have a shorter reach, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but Burns 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. Algeo 6 foot, 73-inch reach. Algeo clearly trains out of his own gym. So take that for what you will. This fight, I think if it gets out of like the first 7.5 minutes, Algeo should win. He has the cardio to do so. But Burns is he's on his shit, I would say, in that when he first gets out there, he's on his shit. And so this fight is tough for me because it's like, yeah, I don't like to bank on fighters if I know they only have like 7.5 minutes of gas and then it's done. But at the same time, when I watch a lot of Bill Algeo's fights, he gets in a lot of really, really shitty like submission positions. Yeah. He'll have his back taken, or a lot of times it's his back taken. Like he's just getting his back taken all the time, and he's getting out of it. But like you see who he's fighting, none of these guys are top level BJJ like experts. And then you have Herbert Burns, who that's what he does: rear naked choke. Like he's triangle choke, rear naked. Like that's what he wants to do, is literally choke you. So I think if Burns gets on Algeo's back and it's in that first round and it's in like, he has 2 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes to work. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think Algeo might be in trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the line is. And I don't think Algeo can finish him personally. I don't think Algeo's that kind of guy. But I want to see like scorecards, no action. What do you think about this fight? And I'll get back to you on my pick. I'm not entirely sure.
Right. So I'm pretty confident in Bill Algeo winning this. He's a dog, man. Like he's had some like all of his losses are to last 3 losses are to all of his losses are to really solid people. If you look at it, I don't know who Dean Levin is, but that was in 2012. He's lost to Shane Burgos, Jared Gordon, Brennan Loughnane, Ricardo Ramos, Ricardo Lamas, like all formidable foes or opponents. And I think that he's not going to get finished. I mean, I think he's very hard to finish. I don't think the only way he gets finished is if Herbert Burns, like you said, gets him in the first round maybe and gets him in a really bad position. But I think Herbert Burns is pretty overrated. I think I had my bet on him against Daniel Pineda. And then, like, dude, what's Daniel Pineda did since that? That's, like, probably, like, the highlight of, like, his comeback tour. You know what I mean? Like, because he was out for a few years, came back and beat Herbert Burns by crucifix, and then he lost to Cub Swanson by right cross, and then he got a no contest because Andre Fili poked him in the eye, or he poked Andre Fili in the eye. I'm not sure. So I think Herbert Burns is overrated. I think he's coming. Also, I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL during his time off. That's why he hasn't been back in so long. I also think that it's kind of been weird. He's canceled 3 fights in the last year or 3 fights this year so far. So I don't know. I think he's kind of sketchy to bet on. I'm taking Senor Perfecto. I think I'm going to parlay him with someone.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to lean like a pick, I'm picking Algeo. But right now at minus 210, I don't really like it, especially when I've seen him just put in some really bad positions by guys who are not like these high level grapplers. And I feel like when we see in the UFC, when fighters have bad submission defense, it's not always exploited because some opponents don't have that skill set, don't have those capabilities. Whereas you have a guy like Herbert Burns who does have that capability, and I think that's his only win condition is literally like he's submission or bust, and his submission prop is plus 225. That's pretty low for a submission prop, unless you're like the Andre Muniz or something like that. Muniz, where it's like the minus 105 or minus 115 or something.
Algeo is slippery, man.
He is slippery, but I think if it's in the first round.
Oh,
round
yeah.
and
They're
a half
dry.
dry. And I mean, that's pretty much I think that's his condition is a first round submission. So, I mean, maybe playing that first round sub or just Herbert Burns first round, that might be something that could be interesting if it's juicy enough. But I think outside of that, Algeo should get it done. But I just know I've seen Algeo in some pretty shitty positions, and I think Herbert Burns is somebody who could take advantage of that if he does get on someone's back, or like if he gets on Algeo's back, why can't he submit him? You know, I mean, he is a world-class like BJJ guy. It's not like he is a scrub.
I think I'm going to have him in like a parlay with a couple other fighters. Like, I think it's going to be a 3-legger, and I am going to cry if he gets finished in the first round, but you know, it is what it is.
My lean's Algeo, but if you want to like hedge that out, I would probably do Burns, like either first round sub or just Burns first round and just kind of leave it with that, because you'll probably get decent plus money. Especially if you do the sub first round, you'll definitely get like more than plus 500.
You got crucifixed by Daniel Pineda, bro. That's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. He also has missed weight his past like 2 fights too.
Yeah, so, let's see if he even makes weight.
Yeah, so that's a big thing as well. I haven't placed a bet on him. This is just kind of brainstorming. I imagine the Bill Algeo line is going to get even higher. So I mean, we might get Burns like plus 190, something like that. I know my EV calculator.
He definitely has a good chance.
My EV calculator has Herbert Burns really high. It's like a 10% edge or something over the market right now is what they say at plus 170.
He is very elite at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, they say at plus 170 it's like a 10% edge. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I mean 10% can't really ask for better than that. You know what I mean? Any other thoughts on this one?
Nope.
All right, man. So let's hop over to our next fight. We have Ricky Simone against Jack Shore. This is one of the highly anticipated fights of the card, for me at least, and it seems like for the community. Tail of the tape. Let's just break it down how we've been doing it. Ricky Simone, Jack Shore. Simone 2 years older. Simone 2 inches shorter and a 1 inch reach disadvantage. Jack Shore undefeated, 16-0. Simone 19-3. His last loss was against Rob Font, unanimous decision. Can't hate him for that. Rob Font's a good fighter. I don't know if Jack Shore would be Rob Font, so can't really fault Ricky Simone for that one. We this fight's close. These guys are grapplers. This is a grappler versus grappler fight. We should see some striking. Obviously, they'll start out on the feet, but I believe eventually it's going to get to the ground, and it's going to be a more high-level version of the Valiev fight that Jack Shore just had. So that's how I think it's kind of going to go. I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't have a strong lean on this fight. This is one of the fights that I don't know if I want to bet it. I don't really like any of the numbers for it. So what do you think, man? Maybe you can sway me one way or the other.
Man, I love Jack Shore, but Ricky Simón is a dog, dude. Like, I've been riding Jack Shore. I think his last 3 wins, and he's got an all-around game. He can do it all. His boxing seems to have been improving too in his last few fights. At the same time, Ricky Simón's been through it already, man. He's lost on the biggest stage. He's brought himself back up. He's on a nice 4-fight winning streak. He's just finished a pretty well-known guy in the division at Rafael Assunção. So he's finished Merab Davishvili. That was pretty impressive. But I feel like you got to take the dog money on this if you're going to bet this fight and pick a side, just because I think it's going to be a really close fight. And that's kind of where I'm leaning. I think it's a very close fight that goes to decision. I think it's probably going to be a 29-28, or maybe it's like that split. It could be a split. But and that, if it plays out the way that I think it is, I'm going to take the dog money and be fine if I end up losing money. But Jack Shore is legit, dude. If he loses this fight, I definitely think we'll be seeing more of him, like in the top 10 division at some point. But he's the younger guy. I don't know, man. It really is a toss-up. I think I might take Simón, but I don't know yet.
Okay. Do you think that there's a finish in this fight?
No, I think if there is a finish, Jack Shore finishes Ricky Simón. Mm-hmm. They don't have the props out for me to even. If I'm making a bet, I'm taking Ricky Simón by decision. But right now, since that's not up, I don't want to hit his
Yeah, Ricky Simón by points on Bet Online is plus 215.
Yeah, see, that's a good number. I like that.
Honestly, hitting Jack Shore points plus 115 and Ricky Simón points plus 215.
I might do that too.
Hitting both of those, and just even out your units to where you don't, you'd profit no matter what, no matter who would win. It won't be as big of a profit, but you're going to profit no matter what. As long as there's not a finish, you're going to profit.
Yeah, for sure. And
you can even hedge that with fight doesn't go the distance, because fight doesn't go the distance is plus 155. So you could really 3-way hedge yourself around. It doesn't go the distance. You could hedge yourself out.
The thing is, though, I could see Simón getting caught maybe, because he got finished by Uriah Faber in the first round. Uriah Faber is 40 years old, bro.
Yeah, he got caught in that fight for sure. I watched that fight, and he just, it wasn't a good look, but he just got caught. It was just one of those things where you're not looking and you got caught. And
he probably thought Uriah Faber was washed, but
that's I think exactly what Uriah Faber was 40. No business getting.
And who's his best win since? He went split decision with Ray Borg, Gaetano Perello. I haven't really seen much of him, but I haven't seen him fight in the past year. So
yeah, he beat Merab, he beat Montel Jackson, he beat Ronnie Yaya.
But I don't know if he beats Merab now, though. I'd probably take Merab in that fight if you give me decent odds.
It'd be interesting. Well, I don't know.
But then Assunção, dude, and he's on the way out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that's but I think when you look at Jack Shore's opponents, a lot of them aren't even in the UFC.
Yeah,
anymore.
no, you're right. Timur Valiev, though, I think is a better win than those last 4 wins for. Regardless, I'm splitting hairs, but
yeah, it's splitting hairs. I mean, it's close. I think.
So I go for like maybe I should just stay away and take the goes the distance prop. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this fight's a trap. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's a trap. I feel like when I look at the line, Jack Shore, there's a lot of money. I feel like there's a lot of love on Jack Shore right now.
Yeah.
But like the lines aren't moving. I mean, they're moving pretty extremely. And so I feel like when you see that, I don't know, but at the same time, Ricky Simone's line is not getting like astronomically high. I don't know. It's weird. The market for that fight is just weird. I don't think it's like I look at
close, such a close fight.
Yeah, it just hasn't moved much. I mean, that and the Burgos fight, I feel like the market is just like spot on for those two fights, and there's like no wiggle room, and there's not much to go by.
Yeah.
But anything else?
No, I'm good.
I think I'm gonna lean Shore. But if I had to bet, if I'm gonna put my money on someone, if I'm gonna throw a unit, I probably am just gonna throw a unit at Ricky Simone because I think this fight will likely go to the scorecards. And I wouldn't be surprised to get a split decision. And like you said, if it's going split, I'd rather the dog money. So,
yeah.
All right, man. Let's move on to our main event of the prelim. We have Punahele Soriano versus Dalcha Lungiambula. Jeez, I can't speak sometimes.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that one is a tough one. All right. Both these guys are on a 2-fight losing streak. Dalcha will be 5 years older. Dalcha will be 3 inches shorter, but he will have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. This fight, I don't know. It's icky. I think it's gross. I don't think I'm gonna have a bet on this. I will say this fight has a sneaky. What do I want to call it? I think a sneaky fight goes to decision. I'm not sure what the line is right now, but I believe that this is one of those fights.
Plus 150.
Yeah, so if it can get a little bit better, I'm not going to touch that plus 150. But if it was like higher, plus 200, plus 250, plus 300, I might touch it. Yeah, I don't like it at plus 150, so scratch that. It's too sweaty for that. If you're getting like the Uriah Hall Muniz plus like 385 or whatever, it's not really sweating out a decision. You're like, if it doesn't go, it doesn't go, but I'm getting huge odds, so it's nice. This fight, I'm probably going to lean, I don't know, I'm probably leaning Punahele. I think he's not good, but I think Dalcha's worse. That's really how fair. I feel. I don't think Dalcha's going to wrestle. Dalcha doesn't even hit that hard. Like, I was looking at Dalcha's fights. When he hits people, they don't even get like hurt that badly. He's a southpaw, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm remembering correctly. So both these guys are southpaws, so that'll be interesting. I don't know. I think this fight might go to decision because it's just, if it gets out the first round, these guys will be sloppy. Yeah. But at the same time, Soriano does hit like a Mack truck, so he could put Dalcha out. I'm staying away from this fight. There's absolutely no chance I'm touching minus 250. Like, so Dalcha Soriano minus 250.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Dalcha is actually orthodox according to UFC stats, but I could be wrong. Okay. But Punahele is southpaw.
Yeah, I just feel like I remember watching the Brendage fight, and I thought he was southpaw, but I could be totally tripping and mixing it up with something else.
Yeah. Anyways, you pretty much said it. I think fight goes the distance is probably the play here. They're both super tough. They haven't been finished in the UFC. unless Dalcha's been submitted, but he hasn't been like knocked out or anything. Definitely possible. Both hit like back trucks. But yeah, I mean, minus 250 is a little gross to me. I'm looking at this line right here, and Punahele by KO is plus 160 and points is plus 250. Plus 500 for points by Dalcha, or plus 450 by KO for Dalcha. So, I don't even love any of those lines necessarily. Maybe if Punahele by points if you really think he's going to win. But by knockout, I mean, he could win by knockout, but I don't know. I thought he should have been able to. Yeah, I mean, if he's gonna be able to, I feel like if he could finish Brendan Allen, then there's a good chance he finishes Dalcha. But the fact that he couldn't finish Brandon Allen, he kind of got outpointed by Brandon Allen, makes me kind of think that he's probably live for the first 5 minutes of getting a knockout. But after that, he's probably just going to start. He'll be able to keep going because he's got heart, but he's not going to be able to have that lights out power with one shot.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I don't really like Punahele Soriano is he doesn't really have good hands. He's kind of just that headhunter who's looking for that one good straight left, and that's it. And that's really all he has. And if he doesn't connect with that, like, what does he do? He doesn't really do much. But then it's like, what the hell does Dalcha do? Absolutely nothing. And so then it's just like one guy who does one thing like kind of good, and then another guy who does nothing good. I don't know. But then I don't know. Unless Punahele goes out and starches Dalcha, Punahele is not going to look like a minus 250 favorite. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
But I still can't bet Dalcha, even at the line that it's at. Maybe if it gets that shit gets to like 225 or something like absurd, I might throw like half a unit to be like, let's win like 1.2 units or something. But still, I feel like just like a waste of money at that point.
I don't know. Is it just me, or is this just like the most random matchup they could have made in this division? Like,
it's super random. 1 and 2, it's like
should be a fun fight, but it's so random.
It's random, and I just think it's pointless.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, I think the UFC, this is another one of those fights where kind of my little narrative bell goes off, and I'm like, okay, we have a 29-year-old against a 34-year-old, a guy who, a Hawaiian fighter, he's had 3 wins coming into the UFC. I mean, the contender, 2 wins, and now he has 2 big losses. So, and they gave him stiff competition. This is a massive step down. I think that they're pretty much just like, here, Punahele, here's someone easy for you.
Yeah.
Get back on track, and let's continue trying to kind of promote you. Because they also put him in this. This is the prelim main event. So there's a reason why this is in this fight, and I don't think they're here to promote Dalcha. Yeah. So I will agree, probably Punahele, and I might have talked myself into Punahele by KO potentially. I don't know. I'm just probably going to watch this fight. I feel gross saying it out loud, so I don't know if I'm going to ever place that bet. But any other thoughts on this one before I move on?
No. The only okay, so Dalcha's actually been finished before. He got head kick knocked out by Magomed, and I just remember that knockout. That man got domed. So yeah, I mean, Punahele by knockout, honestly, it could be a play, but the odds aren't that great on it.
Isn't that crazy? They really had this man fight Magomed Ankalaev. Like, what the fuck did the UFC have Dalcha fighting Ankalaev for? Like, he went from Daquan Townsend to Ankalaev.
That's what you call a setup fight right there.
Yeah, talk about a setup fight for Ankalaev, and talk about the UFC being like, Dalcha, we don't give a shit about you. Crazy, man. Crazy. All right, so let me hop on over to the next fight. We got a woman's fight, second one of the night. We have one more after this as well. We got Lauren Murphy against Miesha Tate. We got battle of the women vets right here. Lauren Murphy, 38. Miesha Tate, 35. Miesha Tate will be 1 inch taller. Miesha Tate will have a 1.5 inch reach disadvantage. This fight, to me, is pretty straightforward. I don't think Lauren Murphy's good at all. You look at who she's fought, Joanne Wood. Joanne Wood, I'm pretty sure just got cut from the UFC. Lilia, not good. Roxanne Modafferi, vet, lover, great UFC fighter, pioneer, not good. Andrea Lee, she won a split decision, and I thought Andrea Lee won that fight. So, and honestly, Joanne Wood kind of looked like she won that fight too, if we're going to be honest, people. So if she could easily be 2-3 in these last fights. And if she would have lost those fights, she would have never fought Valentina. Lauren Murphy had no business fighting Valentina, if we're going to be honest. Anyways, we have Miesha Tate. Her last 5, she beat Holly Holm. That was 6 years ago, though. Lost to Nunez, lost to Raquel Pennington, beat Marion Renault, and then lost to Callum Vieira. Renault was like she was like 42, 43. She was about to retire. So that was literally the UFC just like, welcome back, Miesha. Stomp this girl out. Then she lost to Callum Vieira, who, fair enough, good fighter. She lost. But this fight right here, Miesha Tate should be better everywhere. She should be a better striker. She should be a better kickboxer. She should be a better wrestler. She should be a better grappler. She should be quicker, better cardio. Literally everything Miesha Tate should be better. And we see that with the line. She's minus 210 now. So we see everybody's kind of on that Miesha side. I could easily see Miesha Tate beating Lauren Murphy, potentially finishing Lauren Murphy, even though Miesha Tate doesn't have a ton of finishes on her record. She does have some. Finish Lauren Murphy, and I can see Lauren Murphy just taking her gloves off in the octagon and calling it quits, you know? She's 38. She got her title shot. She lost. She knows damn well she ain't making it back for another title shot. You know what I mean? Like, how many more years? She'd have to fight at least probably 2 or 3 more years to get that title shot. So yeah, I think she's done. I think Lauren Murphy's probably going to be done here. I'm going Miesha Tate. What about you, man?
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the easier fights to call. I mean, it's WMA, but I still think it's one of the easier fights to call.
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
pretty much said it. Like, what Miesha Tate's got literally the advantage in every single category except for the length in her arms. And I still think she's a better striker. Lauren Murphy got a couple lucky split decisions go her way, and she rode it out to a title fight, and good for her. I think she's awesome. I like her, but I don't think I think she's obviously way past her prime. So I'm going to go Tate, and I actually am going to have her in a parlay, I think, with that Algeo.
I kind of like that. I don't know if I'll put Algeo in a parlay, but I do like Tate in a parlay. I will note, though, that Tate is going down to 125 for the first time in her career. So that'll be interesting. Post having children, I'm pretty sure she has fake boobs. That is weight. I mean,
that is.
I'm not trying to comment. I don't care if she has fake boobs. I'm just saying for weight purposes, that matters.
Forgot about that.
And so dropping down 10 pounds and having silicone on her body, it might make a difference. So it might be interesting to see kind of how she cuts weight, if she makes weight fine before making that parlay or before placing any bets. But the line is going to get so out of hand that you might just want to place those bets sooner. And then if you have a book that allows you to cash out, maybe if she looks real bad on the scale or something like that, go ahead and cash that bet out. But I'm leaning Miesha Tate. I think Miesha Tate should easily win here. I mean, I think the UFC is setting up Miesha Tate to fight Valentina, if I'm going to be honest. And so I think Miesha Tate's going to beat this girl right here, Lauren Murphy. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC just gave Miesha Tate the title shot. It was just like, here you go. Not because she deserves it, not because she would contend, but I think if you have Valentina Shevchenko against Miesha Tate, it's going to sell. It's a good headliner. It's going to sell. It's going to get UFC fans to come back, especially older ones if they like Miesha Tate. So just another little narrative that I think Miesha Tate's probably going to win this fight and the UFC wants her to. Any last thoughts before we move on?
Nope.
All righty. Let's get this thing rolling then. Next fight, we got Shane Hurricane Burgos against Charles Air Jourdain. Tail of the tape goes. How should we start? Let's start with Burgos. Burgos is 5 years older. He is going to have the 2 inches in height and a 6-inch reach advantage, 5.5, 6 inches. So when it looks tail of the tape, it kind of sides with Burgos. Jourdain is younger, so that's in his favor, but Burgos is in his prime. It's not like he's late 30s or 40s or anything like that. Strength of competition, I mean, just looking at the fighters, Burgos has definitely fought tougher people. Jourdain hasn't fought scrubs either, though, so I don't want to say that he's done that. I'm siding with Burgos here. I think Burgos is just slightly better everywhere. I think every fight that he's had, he's pretty much had a very good account for himself. I think the fights he was supposed to win, he won. The fights he was supposed to lose, he lost. It's kind of how it goes. He lost to Emmett, lost to Qatar, lost to Barbosa, is what it is. You look at Jourdain, he was a big favorite in 2 of his fights. Let me pull it up. He was a big favorite in the Erosa fight, lost that, and then a big favorite in the Kulabau fight. And truthfully, he lost that too. I don't know why a judge ruled that a draw. It was kind of dumb, but that definitely was a loss for him. So I don't know. Jourdain's fun. He's exciting. I don't think it's his time yet. He's still 26. He's still getting better. Give him maybe 2 more years. I think he might be able to handle Burgos, but Burgos is longer. I think he hits a little bit harder. I think he's a little bit smarter. So that's kind of how I'm leaning. I'm going to go Burgos here. How you feeling with this one?
Oh, I know we disagree on this one. I'm team Air Jourdain. Air Jourdain. Yeah, I like him. I think the line's mostly too wide. Do I think Burgos is probably the overall better, more complete fighter at this time? Yeah, but I also think he's way more chinny, and I think he's taken a lot of damage. And I also think Jourdain's a wild man, and I feel like he normally gets better as the fight goes longer. I think he's going to be able to pull off the sneakier jiu-jitsu plays, like with the guillotine, like he pulled on Lando Benata. That was pretty cool to see and surprised me because I did not know that he had that in his game. I got him at plus 160. I got 2 units on him. I think that he is not guaranteed to win, but I like those odds, and I will take them because I think this is going to be a war and a close fight. Maybe he loses 29-28, but I think he gets around it no matter what. At least wins 1 round. Maybe 2, maybe a split decision.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I think 2 reasons I'm more leaning Burgos as well that I didn't mention is just overall him as just like a fighter, his complete game is just a little bit better. And so I think he'll be able to just outpoint Jourdain just in general. And then secondly, I look at Jourdain's fights, he loves to pressure people. But when he gets pressured, he doesn't fight too good. When you look at that Josh Kulibau fight, Kulibau was on his ass all fight, and Jourdain was getting clocked. The first 2 rounds, he 100% lost. And the last round was not a 10-8. And so I think when I look at him being pressured and he struggles like that, and Burgos is going to keep coming forward, that's kind of just where I see the struggle. But yeah, I mean, I can't fault you for the dog shot. It should be close. But I think it's going to be kind of like that Billy Q, Shane Burgos fight where it looked kind of close because it was like a fireworks fight, but Shane Burgos just has like a clear unanimous decision victory.
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how I'm feeling with this fight. I think it's going to be similar. I think Jourdain and Billy Q are kind of on the same skill level. And so that's kind of how Jourdain has more power for sure, but Billy Q a little more output. But I think skill-wise, they're kind of similar.
Strike absorbed per minute for Shane Burgos, 6.69. That's a lot of strikes absorbed per minute in a longer.
It is, but I think when you look at his opponents, he's fighting, if you take into account Qatar, Emmett, and Barbosa.
He's definitely lost to the way better fighters.
I think if he's fought those guys and you look at him getting hit, majority of the time getting hit was those guys. The Billy Q fight, he did get hit a lot, but I think it's because Billy Q has pillow hands.
So do you think the odds are fair though? I guess minus 175 is different than minus 200, which I saw. I think.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is as I said earlier in the week, I said I wouldn't lay minus 200, but I mean, he on June 27th. He opened up at 150 within 40 minutes. He went from minus 150 to minus 200. So sharp bettors came in instantly and was like minus 150 hammer. And so I think that means a lot. I think you have those sharp people who saw that and were like, Shane Burgos minus 150, there's no way. And so I think probably minus 170, minus 175 is pretty accurate.
Also, he's in his hometown too.
Yeah, and that too. He's in New York. And I remember I pointed that out, I think, to you over text, but he's in New York and he's like 6-0 fighting in New York. And I think that matters.
Yeah, for sure. All
right. So I'm on Burgos. You are on Jourdain. It's going to be good. I'm glad we have some dissent here. We have a couple fights where we defer, so it's good. All right. We got Matt Schnell against Sumudaerji. Matt Schnell is he's a solid fighter. He is going to be the older man. He's going to be actually I thought for some reason I thought he was going to be shorter, but he looks like he's going to be shorter in the octagon. I know Bo says 5'8", but I feel like Sumudaerji looks taller than 5'8", and I feel like Schnell looks smaller.
He looks big.
Yeah, Sumudaerji looks like a big man. He looks like he's almost bantamweight, maybe even featherweight. But Sumudaerji is a kickboxer. That's his background. Matt Schnell is a grappler. That's his background. When I say grappling, I mean strictly BJJ. No wrestling. Wrestling is not in his repertoire. So Sumudaerji has 2 losses, or all 4 losses actually by submission, which is a little interesting considering Schnell is a submission artist, kind of. So maybe Schnell by submission is something people want to target. I'm leaning Sumudaerji. I kind of want to play Sumudaerji by KO, maybe even Sumudaerji KO round 1. I think Schnell's chin is compromised. He had the guillotine choke by Royval. I'm pretty sure he got hurt and then went to the guillotine. Bontarin, he lost there. Tyson Nam won a split. That's gross. I don't care. Pantoja, overhand right. And then he has I can keep going on, but he has a bunch of knockout losses, a bunch of first-round KO losses. And then you look at Sumudaerji's record before the UFC. He has a ton of first-round KO wins. So I think this fight is probably going to go Sumudaerji by KO, Schnell by sub. You can play both those lines, but Schnell by sub, I think it's kind of dumb to play. It's kind of like that Vandera line where we're hoping that I fell into that trap, like, oh, he's going to go for the sub. But thankfully I played a Chase Sherman money line, so I kind of made some money off that fight. But we can't really back Schnell. We can't really hope he's going to wrestle. I mean, the dude doesn't wrestle. He doesn't try to go for takedowns. And so I think he has like 2 takedowns in the UFC, and one of them he was pulling guard, and the other one he got was like a full-on body lock. It was just like a whatever takedown. It wasn't great. So, and I'm pretty sure Smolka got back up, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, because he was in a higher weight class. So I don't know. This fight, I'm going Sumudaerji. I'm not a huge fan of Matt Schnell. I think he's probably going to get finished. I have a bet on this fight, actually. I have a bet fight doesn't go the distance, minus 150. I think I have like 2 units on it. So basically 2 units to win like 1.5 or something. I don't know. I don't remember the math. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a finish in this fight. I don't really want to pick a side. I don't want to lay the chalk, but that's how I'm feeling. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not going to have a bet on this fight. I think that Sumudaerji should catch him. Like you said, Matt Schnell does not go for takedowns. Why would I trust a man with good jiu-jitsu to go for takedowns? You'd hope he'd be able to do that, but he can't. Tibetan Eagle is well built, strong. It's not going to be easy to take him down. You have to be, unless maybe you catch him on a kick or something. Yeah, I don't like Schnell. I haven't seen much to like from him in any of his past 3 or 4 fights. I think the reality is that he probably gets caught and Sumudaerji wins, but minus 290, I don't know. He's a vet. He could pull some vet stuff off. I wouldn't completely rule him out. So for that reason, I'm not going to bet on it. But I like your bet of it not going the distance because I think Sumudaerji would probably catch him, or maybe he gets Sumudaerji in a sub when he overcommits to something.
Yeah, I think it just kind of covers both sides. Both guys kind of messing up. So hopefully one of these guys does get finished. Yeah, we can cash our bets, or my bet. All right, any last thoughts on this one?
Nope.
All right, let's move on. I feel like these last few fights, not the last couple ones we've had, have been a little more straightforward. We're pretty quick with them. I spent more time with the main card this time around. I need to watch a little more Ricky Simone, Jack Shore, though. That was the one fight I low-key neglected. All right. So we have Jingliang against Muslim Salikhov. Tail of the tape. Liang is 4 years younger. He's going to have the 1-inch height advantage and a 2.5-inch reach advantage. He's coming off that pretty brutal loss to Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat kind of disrespected him pretty badly in the octagon, picked him up, walked over to Dana, was holding him in midair, talking to Dana White, slammed him, submitted him. It was pretty ruthless.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, it was very disrespectful. Muslim Salikhov, he's a kickboxer, king of kung fu. Look at the name. He's a really good kickboxer. He has a pretty good power. I think his biggest problem, at least to me, watching the film, is volume. If I knew he was going to go out here and throw like a consistent amount of punches, I think I would bet on him. But he just doesn't. He doesn't like to throw a lot, and so it's hard to bet on a guy who has low volume. And I mean, is going to decisions, and the bulk of his fights, not the bulk, but a decent amount of his fights, he past a couple in the UFC, it's decision. Before the UFC, he was getting a lot of finishes. But then you come to the UFC and he not as many. He has 2 here, but these are against subpar competition. Then he gets slightly better comp, and then he's going decisions. But then before the UFC, it's just all finishes. Leach, he's a pretty good fighter overall. I mean, I think that a lot of people are just kind of forgetting about him because of what Khamzat did. But I think Leach is a good guy. I think he's a good fighter. I think he has good striking. He's not a huge grappler, but when he does grapple, he's not like bad at it. He knows what he's doing. He has decent transitions. He does try to move a little too fast though on the ground. He doesn't hold his position and kind of work his opponent. So that might be an issue for a guy like Muslim, who, if this does get on the ground, Muslim will get up. If Leach is not, if he's not playing it safe and not playing position over submission. In this fight, I'm leaning the Leach. I have a bet on the Leach. I have like 1.3 units to win 2 on the Leach at like plus 146. I think I'm gonna put on my narrative hat one more time for the last time. I got one more narrative hat going. I'll put my narrative hat on one more time for everybody. We have an Asian fighter. We're gonna push that Asian market one more time. We have Muslim Salikhov. A lot of the Russian fighters that we like to back, they normally have that Magomedov, or they have that Magomed, something like that in their name. And he has the Salikhov, but it's not the same. He doesn't run in the same circle, doesn't run in the same crew. He doesn't hold the same weight in the UFC's eyes as the other Dagestani brothers do that rock with Khabib. So I think here we have a fighter or a fight where the UFC wants to help promote the Leech. They're giving him a 38-year-old kickboxer. They know that this guy is not going to try to grapple whatsoever. They know it's going to be a striking match. So they're like, Leech, if you want to grapple, we're giving you someone who doesn't like to grapple. And if you want to strike, well, you can strike with this guy and got to knock him out. And so I'm leaning Leech here. I like Lee. I took 2 dog shots. I took a shot on Lee, took a shot on Stoltzfus. So I think one of those should hit. If one of those hits, I should be profitable no matter what. So, yeah, that's how I'm leaning on this fight. I like him. What do you think, man?
I also like Lee Jingliang. Mostly because I think he's going to have a power advantage. I think that the Hamzat fight has people thinking, he's not as good as he actually is. Like maybe they're underrating him now. The guys that really beat him are just guys that blanket him. And I don't think Muslim Salikhov at 38 years old has this, maybe he has the skill set, but I don't think he has the grind and the ability to do it the whole fight, all 15 minutes, win all 3 rounds doing that. And I think the power is going to really stand out when they're on the feet. So I like Jingliang Li. I think I have a unit and a half on him. I think I might put another half unit on him by KO or inside the distance. I have to go do a little bit more research at Muslim Salikhov's last few fights because he doesn't get finished really. So neither did Eliza Zaleski dos Santos or Santiago Ponzinibbio for that matter though either. So I'm thinking I'm going to double up on KO, but I might go to points if I see something else in the tape.
Yeah, I think the Leech is legit. I think the fact that the UFC gave Hamzat Chimaev him, it was like, yo, this is a big test for you. This is your step up. Well, I think that was a big respect level to Leech, and I think that was the UFC being like, we think you're good. We think you're a good fighter. And I think that's kind of what they're doing now. Now they're giving him a 38-year-old guy. And they're kind of like, here you go, man. We kind of fucked you over last fight. So here's a little appetizer for you to get you right before your next fight. So, and like you said, if you look at Leech's fights, he gets blanketed and gets out-grappled. And Muslim Salikhov is not that kind of fighter.
No.
So... And Leech has higher volume on the feet too.
Also, one thing I saw, I forget where I saw it, but apparently Jingliang Li was talking to the media and he was mentioning how this is a huge fight in China because Salikhov used to fight in China for years. I don't know if it was karate or kung fu or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I think it's...
he won medals and stuff over there. And so now everyone wants to tune in to see Li Jingliang fight this legend from the karate world in China.
Exactly. And one other thing I'll note is Li Jingliang has been over here for, I think, since he said he came over in April and has been training at Sanford MMA with he said that's where all the best welterweights are. So that's where he wanted to go train.
Ian Gary, a bunch of all those other guys.
Gilbert Burns, Usman, all those guys go train down there still. So,
yep.
All right, so we're both on the Leech on this fight. Some underdog. We're both on the dog here. And just for people to say that we're dog chasing, just so everybody knows, I was on the Muslim Salikhov side, and my notes even say Muslim Salikhov. But I earlier today, I don't know, I just had a come to Jesus moment, and I was like, they want the Leech to win. And I started thinking about them giving Hamzat him and stuff like that. I don't know. So
Well, let me just preface that by saying this is one of the cards where you can make you could literally. There's not one guy I have seen outside of maybe Dalcha, Lauren Murphy, and maybe in your opinion Shane Burgos that doesn't like the dog has a shot. You know what I mean? There's a path to victory for the dog. So,
yeah, most of these fights there is a path to victory for a dog.
Yep. Even this fight.
Yeah, this fight. So, speaking of this fight, we will break down Michelle Waterson, Amanda Lemos right now. Tape. These women are both kind of old, later in their careers. They're 35, 36 years old. Lemos is what weight class? Strawweight. So is Waterson?
15.
Yeah, so Waterson's going down to 115 for this fight, which will be interesting. But I've seen. I mean, I know pictures don't matter, but I've seen pictures of her, and she looks really good. She looks really in shape. She will be the shorter woman. She'll have the shorter reach than Lemos as well. Lemos is the biggest favorite on the card. Excuse me. I don't think it's a good sign that the women's MMA fight has the biggest favorite on the card. That doesn't sit right with me. What do you think about this fight?
I think that, I think Amanda Lemos should win on the fighting, striking, but I don't think she will do too well on the ground. Can Michelle get her to the ground? I don't know, but I think this fight's got close fight kind of written all over it. And so if I were to bet on this fight, I'm definitely taking the Waterson side, but it's kind of based on can she get it to the ground or not. And they're both up there in age. Like you said, Waterson looked like she's in good shape. You can't lay minus 400 on Amanda Lemos. I truthfully she might make it look easy, but still, there's just too much risk in that for my liking. I couldn't play her. So that's my take. I mean, honestly, Michelle Waterson by split decision is probably kind of juicy.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that. I might take a peek at that. It's not out yet, but it will be out later. I'm trying to see something really quickly. When I look at this fight, I'm pulling up my notes. When I look at this fight, I think that
out. The props are out.
Yeah, some are out for sure, but not that prop.
Plus
is it
1,400? Yeah, for Michelle Waterson.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, for split. I'm definitely gonna dabble on that. 100%. I'll touch that split. But
is she gonna get to minus 400 though? That's what I'd like to see. On Bovada, she's minus 350 currently. Sorry, go ahead.
But when I look at this fight, I think it's gonna be really close on the feet. I think it's gonna be close on the feet. I went back and I watched Waterson fights. Let me see.
Rodriguez?
No, I went back and watched Waterson fight Rodriguez. I went back and watched her fight Joanna.
Oh.
And she was, I can't lie, bro. She was putting hands on Joanna. And Joanna was getting cracked. And she was walking through the punches, but it was good. Waterson just couldn't get her down because Joanna has insane takedown defense.
Yeah.
But I think that fight really showed me okay, this girl can fight. She's not a scrub, but she didn't just go out there and get whooped by Joanna. She was bleeding, yes, but she was tough. She walked through punches and she was swinging back and she was connecting. And then you see her go out against Carla. She lost a split against Carla. And I mean, she's a grappler. She kind of just lost against a better grappler in that one. And then you go and look at Angela Hill. She beat Angela Hill. They said it was a split, but that was a 5-round fight. What the fuck is Waterson and Angela Hill being a 5-round fight? What the fuck is the UFC doing? They were delusional ever doing that to us. And then I think that's because the main event got canceled, but still. And then the Marina Rodriguez fight. Marina's good. I mean, Marina's one of the top fighters in the division. So, I mean, I think Marina Rodriguez is a better striker than Lemos. But so when I look at this fight, I have a bet on Waterson. I have a bet on her. Let me tell you right now. So I'm trying to find I don't even remember where I placed the bet on. I don't remember what sports book it was on. Oh, so I have a bet on Michelle Waterson plus 270, 1 unit. I think that she can come out here and make this real close. I'm definitely gonna look at that split decision though. I'm about to place a bet right now on that Michelle Waterson by split. All right, put a half unit on Waterson by split, half unit to win 7. So I just had to do that real quick because I'm already on her side, and she might not win a unanimous, but I think she can maybe come out with a split. Yeah. Might even put some money on Lemos too by split just to keep it safe. But I'm going Waterson on this one. I just think she's more talented, truthfully. I think Lemos, similar to what I said about Lauren Murphy, I think that she unjustly got shot up to the top. I mean, look at her. She fought Angela Hill, Montserrat Ruiz, Lavinia Souza, and Mizuki Inoue. Like, come on now. Like, she fought some scrubs. Angela Hill's the only person who's like remotely decent.
And it was a split.
It was a split. And then that was a 3-round split too. And then she goes and gets fucking demolished by Jessica Andrade. Like,
well, actually, I think she was winning some of the stand-up, but then she just got caught, grabbed, and it was over. Like, you can't lose. How do you lose this to? I don't know.
Well, the thing is with her striking is she's a counter puncher, but when she counter punches, she doesn't like try to like straight connect. She just comes out and just goes. And so it's like, and don't get me wrong, she has quick hands, and you can knock out a lot of women like that. But when you have high level fighters like Andrade, or you have Waterson, who I would say is a pretty decent level fighter, I think that's where she's going to struggle. And I'm leaning Waterson by splits. I have that too. I might even put a little small wager on Waterson by points, just to fucking go all the way in on Waterson and just say fuck it. Because I mean, like, truthfully, is the UFC trying to push either one of these women anymore? Like, do they have like we want this woman over that woman? Like, she's 36 and 35 years old. Like, both these ladies are on their way out. So that's what I'm leaning. I'm Waterson. I have a bet on her. That's how we're going.
I think I'm gonna see where that the line goes a little bit higher, but yeah, I definitely like her. Definitely think she's worth the shot.
Yeah, well, just for reference, the line is actually going lower.
Actually, I'm lying. I just took her by decision at plus 400, so I don't think that's gonna go up much more.
No, I mean, she was like plus 300 a couple days ago, plus 335 on 5 dimes, plus 340 on DraftKings. So she was
lots of dogs, dude. Making me nervous.
Right, it is nerve-wracking. All right, we'll move on to the final fight. All right, yeah, we're on the final fight here. If you are enjoying yourself, if you enjoy the content, feel free to drop a like, drop a subscribe. It'd be much, much appreciated. All right, we are on fight number 12 of the night. We got Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez, Mr. T City. He's going to be 2 years older. He's going to have a 3-inch height disadvantage and a 2-inch reach disadvantage. His record, he will have the better record, more experience by 1 fight. He will have the more 5-round fight experience, though. So that's on his side. What do you think about this fight, man? I'll let you break this one down first.
Oh God! All right, so both are coming off L's to the guys that just fought a few weeks ago. Yair, he probably put on a better account for himself, even though Ortega was so close to winning with that guillotine. So it makes it so hard. This fight is tough to call. It's funny because I did put like a 2.5 unit bet on Yair earlier this week. But, I might be cashing that out. I'm starting to feel the other way now, just given the huge advantage on the ground that Ortega has. Ortega's only lost to Volk and fucking Max. It's so tough to call, man. I think he should definitely, if he fights the way that he if he continues to grapple like he has in the past, like he's gotten 7 takedowns in the last 3 fights. if he continues to grapple and he can do like I don't think Yair will have an answer on the ground for him, and that's why I kind of feel like Brian Ortega should be the play. But at minus 170, I don't know if I could just take that straight up because I think it's going to be a close fight for a few rounds at least. I don't think anyone's going to walk away immediately unless Ortega just sweeps him to the ground and hops on his neck or something. So I have a bet on Yair right now. Don't feel too great about it. Might be switching up later this week. But what do you feel? Like maybe you could sway me.
I am leaning T-City. I think that on the feet he can hang. I don't think Yair's ungodly on the feet. Yair was losing to Korean Zombie, and Ortega whooped that man's ass on the feet. So when I think about it, and that I know that's MMA math, but just kind of looking at matchups and how people face up with each other, I think Brian Ortega should be fine on the feet. I don't think he's gonna get abused or too beat up. He does have a lack of striking defense, though. He does kind of just like to rely on his chin and his toughness. And while I respect it, and I like to back fighters with my money who I know aren't just going to go out and quit on me, I don't like it for optics' sake. If he's bloodied and bruised up and the eyes swollen shut, I mean, it's not good when you're going to the scorecards. But this fight, I'm definitely leaning Ortega. So I covered, I think, on the feet, he's pretty even. And then we hit the grappling realm, and that's where T-City, Brian Ortega is just, it's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother world. This is professionals against amateurs, basically, is what this is going to look like on the mat if it's going to get into that, in that realm. We look at Ortega. He submitted Makwan. He's submitted Cub Swanson. He's submitted, I'm going to just pull this up and just look at some of the guys he's submitted. Renato Moicano. He submitted Diego Brandao. So he's had some pretty big submissions. I mean, Renato Moicano is a legit BJJ black belt. Cub Swanson is also a BJJ black belt. And there's, I don't know why I didn't mean to say Makwan Armani. I meant to say Renato Moicano. I just was thinking of a different fighter. But
he fights soon.
Yeah. And so when you look at it, it's like he's submitted these guys who are legit black belts. And then we have Yair, who's not. If this gets on the ground, I think it's over. I think this could be over as quickly as the first round. I think it could be over second, third, fourth, fifth. I literally think Ortega by sub is live at any second of this fight. No, like the moment we saw with Volk. If he gets Yair and that shit he got Volk in, this is over. It's done. Call it a night, and it's wrap. And so I don't know. I think minus 170 is justified. I mean, I think he's so live for a finish, and I don't think Yair is live for a finish, that at literally any moment, this fight could just be over. And I think because of that, Ortega is the rightful minus 170 favorite and just the rightful favorite in general. And so I don't know if I'm going to back him at minus 170, but I'll probably back him depending on what his sub prop is. I don't know what the sub prop is. I haven't looked, but it's probably juiced right now. So it's probably not even very good. I'm going to look on Bet Online real quick. Yeah, Ortega by sub plus 300, which that's not bad, honestly. But I mean, if you could take Ortega by sub, like, honestly, if you really like Ortega by sub, I would take Ortega by sub either round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would just literally hammer all of those, and you should probably come out profitable if he does hit that submission. I think a submission's at least like a 50% chance in this fight, like at the minimum. I mean, what is it like? What are the chances he gets a knockout? Like 10%? 15%, maybe 20 at the absolute max.
Yeah, it's so tough for me to call because, like, on paper, Brian Ortega should totally win, but Yair Rodriguez looked like he leveled up in the last fight. Maybe that's because Max Holloway was eating a lot of shots. I don't know, but he was landing some crazy shots. He looked like he leveled up compared to his fights previously. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely looked fun in that fight.
And Volk totally styled on Ortega outside of that guillotine hop.
He did, but Volk beats the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, I almost don't even want to talk about, like, I don't even care about the Volk fight almost, because it's like, would the same thing happen to Yair? Probably. And so, I don't know. In this fight's, I'm picking Ortega. He's better. He's just better. I think on the feet it's even, and on the ground he's just
better chin. That's for sure too.
Way better, yeah, and a better chin. I think he's just been around the block, and I think.
Well, I guess technically Brian Ortega lost to Max Holloway by doctor stoppage.
Yeah, and that's the doctors, not him.
And last fight against Volk could have been stopped by doctor stoppage.
Oh, for sure.
Weren't they asking him like what do you see? He's like wasn't even answering the question.
Yeah, he wasn't. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely close. I mean, I'm going Ortega. I think he's better. I think he's just better on the ground and on the feet. I think it's going to be close. I think people get caught up in flashy striking and get kind of hyped up, like they see like these cool little spinning stuff and things like that, and that stuff is fun. But when you get to high level, you don't see high level guys throwing these things. You really ever see like literally like top 3 ranked fighters out here throwing spinning back fists and spinning kicks and all kind of crazy stuff. Like it's just, you don't see it because it's not super effective.
Yeah.
It's just not. And so I think that Yair's game is just won't be as effective at this level. And so I'm feeling T-City here. And that's...
Yep, I might take my bet out. I'm still like on the fence. I'm probably going to and just like maybe look at the sub prop or like something like that. Or fight doesn't go the distance. I don't know.
I mean, plus 160 is good though. I mean, literally like some places have them down to like plus 140, plus 134. Yeah. So I mean, even Bet Online, which is the best available right now, is plus 150. So
for sure.
I mean, you definitely got it in at the right time if you just want to keep it and. Like if you just want to hold that.
No. Yair now is a. Oh yeah. You're talking about like the Ortega. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm probably gonna make that. I'm probably gonna have to pull the trigger on that just because.
Yeah.
Brian Ortega's never been finished. Rodriguez, or like he's never been. He's only had a doctor stoppage, but.
Yeah. Well, we did it, man. We went through all 12 fights. Gave some of our bets, we gave some of our picks, gave some opinions, gave you some narratives, some conspiracy theories. So you can kind of rock with that for how you want to, folks. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a subscribe on the video. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at AntPicksEm. I usually tweet my bets out. Just kind of tweet UFC, mixed martial arts, stupid stuff out.
Worth a follow.
Kind of have fun. Yeah. I mean, we're on 9 straight weeks, 8-9 weeks now profitable. So, I mean, if you want to jump on and ride the train with me, why not, right? So that's how we're doing. That's how I'm going to be doing this week. It was good talking these fights with you, man, and we'll talk these next week. We'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one, everybody. Best of luck on your bets.
Best of luck. Get that money.
Yeah, get the money.